The rain had just started to fall when Officer Daniel Martinez noticed a small figure darting through the street. At first, he thought it was a child who had gotten lost, but then he saw her face, flushed, wet with tears, and filled with desperation. She couldn't have been older than 8, her thin arms trembling as she clutched the sleeves of her oversized sweater. With a sob that shook her entire body, she rushed up to him and cried out, "Please, please follow me home, it's my mommy. Please hurry." Those words cut through him sharper than any alarm call ever had. In his years of service, he had heard people plead for help, but something in the little girl's voice, that mix of innocence and raw fear, made his heart pound faster. He didn't wait for explanations. He signaled to his partner, Officer Karen, and both ran after the girl as she guided them through the dimly lit streets. Her small legs carried her faster than one could imagine, but she kept looking back, terrified they might not be following closely. "Don't stop! Please! She needs you!" she shouted, her voice breaking. The officers exchanged worried glances but stayed right behind her. By the time they reached the house, the place looked abandoned. Paint peeled off the wooden panels, the yard was littered with broken toys, and the front door hung loose, barely holding on to its hinges. The girl ran straight inside, calling out, "Mommy, I brought help! Please don't leave me!" The officers followed cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the darkened interior. What they found inside silenced even their most hardened instincts. On the floor of the living room, a young woman lay collapsed, her skin pale and lips trembling. An empty bottle of pills lay on the table, alongside a crumpled note that seemed like a goodbye. Her breathing was shallow, but she was alive. The little girl clung to her mother's hand, sobbing, "Don't go, Mommy. Please don't go. I brought them. They'll save you." The raw pain in her voice made Officer Karen kneel down beside her, putting a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You did so good, sweetheart. You saved your mommy by being so brave." The ambulance was called and paramedics rushed in within minutes, stabilizing the woman. As they worked, the girl refused to let go of her mother's hand, whispering words of comfort that no child her age should have to say. "It's okay, Mommy. I'll be strong for you. Please don't leave me alone." But this was only the beginning of the story. The officers soon learned that the girl's name was Emily, and her mother, Sarah, had been battling crushing depression ever since her husband, Emily's father, had passed away in a tragic accident 2 years earlier. With no family nearby and very little financial support, Sarah had been trying to raise Emily while silently sinking deeper into hopelessness. Bills piled up, food ran low, and the weight of grief consumed her. Emily, despite being just 8 years old, had been holding the household together in her own way. She made her own lunches, walked herself to school, and even comforted her mother when the nights grew too heavy. But that day, when she saw her mother collapse, Emily made the bravest choice of her young life. She ran out into the world to find someone who could help. The hospital admitted Sarah for treatment, and Emily stayed with a foster family while her mother received care. But the story did not end there. Officer Daniel and Karen visited her often, bringing little gifts, snacks, and even reading her bedtime stories when she felt lonely. Emily began to open up, sharing how she used to pray every night that someone would come and help her mommy smile again. The challenges were far from over. Sarah struggled through therapy, battling the darkness that had nearly taken her life. She felt guilt for almost leaving Emily behind, fear that she would never be enough for her daughter, and shame for being in such a broken state. But with time, professional support, and the unwavering love of her daughter, she began to heal. Emily, too, faced her own struggles. At school, she often felt out of place, worried that people would see her as the girl whose mom tried to leave. She carried the burden of growing up too fast, her heart heavy with memories of nights spent hearing her mother cry. But slowly, she learned that being strong didn't mean being silent. Her bravery and calling for help became a story that inspired others, even among her classmates. Months later, Sarah walked hand in hand with Emily out of the hospital for the first time. The officers were there waiting, smiling as though they had become part of the little family. Sarah bent down, cupping Emily's face, and whispered, "You saved me. You're the reason I'm still here, and I promise I'll fight every day to give you the life you deserve." The road ahead wasn't perfect. There were still hard days. Therapy sessions, struggles with money, and nights when memories of loss haunted them. But there was also newfound strength. Sarah found a support group of mothers who shared her struggles, and together they built a community of healing. Emily began to thrive again, her laughter returning, her courage shining like a beacon. The police officers who answered her cry that rainy night never forgot her. In fact, they nominated her for a Community Bravery Award, recognizing the little girl whose quick thinking and fearless heart saved a life. When Emily stood on the stage, holding her mother's hand and accepting the award, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Her story spread through the town, reminding everyone of a powerful truth. Sometimes the smallest voices carry the greatest strength. Sometimes the courage of a child can spark hope in even the darkest places. And in the end, Emily's message, spoken in her trembling but determined voice, resonated far beyond her community. Don't ever give up. Even if it feels like the world forgot you, there's always someone who will listen. Please, be kind always.